Hello everyone, welcome back. In this session, we'll start Unit 2, that is transducers. So in the Unit 2, we are going to understand necessity of a transducers, selection of transducer, the types active, passive, analog, digital transducer. We also see strain gauge principle, gauge factor, features of bonded, unbonded wire and foil type strain gauges, load cell, and the principle of working and features of capacitive transducers, Hall effect type, LVDT, thermistor, thermocouple, piezoelectric, proximity sensors, digital optical encoders, and PIR sensors. The first topic is necessity of electrical transducers. So before before understanding necessity of electrical transducer, so let's see what is transducer. Fine. So transducers. So transducer means, so it is a device which converts one form of energy into another form. So what is the definition? It converts energy of one form to another. So let me show one demo to you to understand how we convert one form of energy into another. I have a simple setup here. I have one DC motor here and one LED. That the DC motor is connected to LED here. You can see. Fine, with the help of a wire. Now when I rotate this DC motor, it converts my mechanical energy into electrical energy. Fine. So this is the motor and this is the LED. Just see, if I rotate this motor, you can see the LED glowing. Fine. If I increase the speed, the more intensity of light will be coming, isn't it? Yes, I am rotating, I am getting the light. What is happening here? So I am applying a mechanical force, pressure, or a mechanical rotational energy. Fine, it converts that rotational energy into electrical signal. That electrical energy is making the light to glow, LED to glow. You can see here. Fine. So this is an example of a transducer. So this motor converts this mechanical energy into electrical signal. So in the reverse, I can rotate this motor by help of electricity, isn't it? So electrical energy can be put to this motor and this motor will rotate. So what is that example? The example of converting electrical energy into again a mechanical energy. Now I have this setup. I have a battery here. I have a motor. Fine. To observe the rotation, I have just put a paper here. So when I connect to a battery, it rotates. You can see it is rotating. What is this motor is doing? This motor is converting electrical energy into again a rotational energy, that is mechanical energy. You can see here, isn't it? So now I call this device as a transducer. So in the first case, the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. In the second example, electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy. Okay, now you can clearly understand what is a transducer, which converts the energy of one form to another. So we have electrical transducers. So electrical transducers is a part of a transducer. Also, what is electrical transducer? So a device which converts non-electrical quantity into the electrical quantity. So any form of energy is converted into electrical quantity. That kind of a transducers are called electrical transducer. For example, any sound, light, heat is converted into electrical quantity, then that device is called a electrical transducer. So to give an example for electrical transducer, so in the first example we have seen when mechanical energy is converted to electrical, that is one example. And one more, we have a earphone. So earphone, we have a mic over there. So if we speak, if you speak, the sound signal is converted into electrical and given to a mobile, and it stores, processes, it does any conversion, or it processes this signal, electrical signal. So in the diagram you can see here, so non-electrical quantity is converted into electric quantity by means of a transducer. Hence, so here this is actually electrical transducer. What is the necessity of electrical transducer? So as an electrical transducer is needed. Why? Because so in any measurement system, all quantities being measured could not be displayed, isn't it? So to display and all, we need electrical transducer. Again, take an example of a weighing machine. As in unit 1 we have seen weighing machine. So when you put to weight on a weighing machine, the pressure or strain is converted into electrical quantity that's been processed, and it is displayed as per the user convenient, isn't it? So if we convert any physical quantity into electrical quantity, there are a lot of advantages, because if we convert any signal into electrical signal, we can process it, you can store it, you can display it, fine, you can vary different quantities, you can vary into different levels, isn't it? So that is the very advantage of our electrical transducer. You can see here, in a measurement system, all quantities being measured could not be displayed. In such situation, the accurate measurement of a quantity is usually done by converting related information or a signal to another form which is more conveniently or accurately displayed. So this is achieved in the with the help of a transducer. Hope you understood what is transducer and electrical transducer is all about. So benefit of electrical transducer, as I said, electrical amplification, attenuation can be done easily, that too using a static device. So what is the amplification? What is attenuation? Amplification is the process to increase the strength of the signal. And what is attenuation? Attenuation is a process to decrease the strength of the signal. Whenever we are measuring some many small signal, then for processing and all, we have to increase the strength. So we can increase the strength because electrical signal can be amplified. Amplified means can be the strength can be increased, or if there is a more strength signal, we can decrease the strength, that is attenuation. That can be done with the electrical signals. So that is the benefit of electrical transducer. The effect of friction is minimized. The electric or electronic system can be controlled with very small electrical power, isn't it? So any systems can be controlled. For example, your TV. Fine, your TV can be controlled with a small remote of a 5 volt or a 3.3 volt. The battery may be 3.3 volt or a 5 volt. So with that 5 volt, you are controlling a large TV which uses 220 volts or 230 volts, isn't it? So that is the advantage. The electrical signal can be easily used, transmitted and processed for the purpose of measurement. So if we have an electrical signal, that can be easily used, it can be transmitted from one place to another easily, and it can be processed. That means you can amplify, you can attenuate, we can filter, we can store, we can display, we can do many more functions on electrical signals. So hence it is better to convert any form of energy into electrical signal than use it to display. The next topic is selection criteria of a transducer. if we are selecting any transducer, what all are the factors we have to look for? So if I want transducer, so what capacity or what are the capability of that transducer? How can I say this transducer is good? So those are the factors. So depending upon number of factors, I can say this transducer is good or this transducer is bad. So these are the number of factors. Total there are 11 factors available here. We will see one by one. What does that mean? Why do we need those? First one, operating principle. So transducer can be selected on the basis of different operating principles. Fine. The examples, different operating principles transducer may use are resistive, inductive, capacitive, optoelectronic, and so on. So we have in the unit 1 we have seen a Wheatstone bridge. The Wheatstone bridge is example for resistive transducer, whereas a different physical quantity impact the resistance of the Wheatstone bridge. In turn, that is converted into electrical signal. That electrical signal can be processed, amplified, or attenuated, stored, or displayed. It depends on a product. So while selecting the transducer, we look for a operating principle. The second one, sensitivity. So what is sensitivity? Sensitivity of a transducer, it should give sufficient output signal per unit measured input in order to yield a meaningful data. When we are selecting any transducer, we look for a sensitivity, how sensitive the transducer is. If you want more accurate product, we should use a very sensitive transducer, isn't it? So what is that sensitivity? It should give a sufficient output signal per unit of measured input in order to yield a meaningful data. The third selection criteria is operating range. So what is operating range? The minimum and a maximum value or a maximum value it can give. So operating range is transducer should maintain a range requirements and have a better resolution over its entire range. So if you are selecting any transducer, as in case of motor I said, if I rotate faster, it generates more electricity. So there is a limit, there is a range, a minimum rotational speed or a maximum rotational speed, or minimum current it produced or maximum current it produced. The minimum and maximum is the range value of that motor. Just like that, every transducer has its operating range, and in that operating range it should give a better output. That is the very important requirement. Accuracy. So we should look for accuracy while selecting the transducer. What is that accuracy means? High degree of accuracy is necessary for measurement. It should not alter quantity to be measured, isn't it? It should be very accurate. It should be very stable and reliable. When you are selecting any transducer, it should be stable in any conditions and it should be reliable, isn't it? Next, insensitivity to unwanted signals. When you are selecting any transducer, fine, it should not impacted by any unwanted signals. That is, transducer should be minimally sensitive to unwanted signal and highly sensitive to wanted signal. For example, next, cost. So transducer should be easily available at reasonable prices. Next we have loading effects. To avoid loading effect, it is necessary that a transducer should have high input impedance and low output impedance. So if we have high input impedance and low output impedance transducer, then loading effect can be minimized. Hope you know what is input impedance and output impedance. Next, physical environment. So transducer selected should be able to withstand any change in the environmental condition and maintain its output input relationship. If you are selecting any transducer for your product, so it should be very stiff for any environmental condition changes. For example, if you are using any transducer. So if temperature changes or humidity changes, it should not affect the transducer. Transducer behavior should not be impacted by any physical environment. Errors: it should maintain the expected input output relationship to avoid any errors. So error should be minimum. If you are using any transducer, the error it produces should be minimum or zero. If it produces more errors, so then it is not a proper transducer you are using. Next, electrical aspects. So it includes the length and the type of cable it uses, signal to noise ratio, amplifiers, and frequency response limitations. So we have to look for these many aspects while selecting a transducer, isn't it? Okay. Next we have a type of transducers. We have active transducers, passive transducers. We also have analog transducers and digital transducers. So this classification is done based on energy conversion. Fine. So ultimately transducer converts one form of energy into another. So depending upon the energy conversion, we have done this classification: active and passive transducers and analog and digital transducers. We will see what is active and passive transducers. Let's consider two examples. One is photovoltaic cell. Photovoltaic cell is a solar plates placed on a rooftop of a home. So what it does, solar plate, it converts light energy into electrical energy. So the light from a sun will be fall on a photovoltaic cell. Fine, PV cell. It converts that light into electrical energy. That is one example. So another example is, take again a weighing machine. So weighing machine, what it does, pressure placed on the surface of a weighing machine is converted into electrical quantity, then that will be displayed. Here you can observe, to convert light into electricity, do we need any electricity? Fine, extra electricity is not needed to convert light into electricity, isn't it? But in case of a weighing machine, what happens? Weighing machine needs electricity to sense the weight and display it on a screen. Fine, you are understanding, right? So this weighing machine needs electricity for a conversion, or it needs electrical source or a battery source or a electrical source to convert one form of energy into another form. But in case of a photovoltaic cell, it doesn't need electricity. It directly converts light into electrical signal, isn't it? So there are two types of transducer now. So those are the active and passive transducer. So I can say active transistors are those who doesn't need any electrical source or auxiliary source for conversion. That is the example of a photovoltaic cell. So in the passive transducer, so these are the types of a transducer which converts one form of energy into another form, but it needs an extra auxiliary source. In case of a weighing machine, we need power, we need electricity for conversion. But in case of a photovoltaic, we do not need electricity, light is converted into electricity, isn't it? So that is the active and passive transducer. You can see here a transducer which develop its output in the form of electrical current or a voltage without any auxiliary source. So if the transducer is not using any auxiliary sources, then it is called active transducer. In case of a passive, you can see the definition: transducer which derives the power required for the energy conversion from an external power source is called as a passive transducer. For a conversion, one form of energy into another form, we need an extra source, then that comes under a passive. If we doesn't use any extra sources for a conversion, That kind of transducer are called active transducers. So example for active transistors, as I said, photovoltaic cell. With that, piezoelectric transducers are available, thermocouples are available as an example of active transducers. For as an example of passive transducers, we have resistance thermometers, thermistors, and photo emission cells. Okay. Next we have analog transducers and digital transducers. So transducer which converts input physical quantity into an analog output which is continuous function of time is known as analog transducers. What is digital? Which converts input physical quantity into digital output. For analog transducer, it converts physical quantity to analog output. In a digital transducer converts a physical quantity into digital output. Fine. In the form of pulses. In case of a digital transducer, it converts to digital output as pulses. In case of analog transducer, it converts analog output which is a continuous function of time. So example for analog and digital is, for analog transducers we have LVDT, which we see in detail in the next session, thermocouple, strain gauge, thermistor, etc. And for digital transducer we have example digital tachometer, digital optical encoder, etc. We will stop this session here only. We will continue in next session. Thank you.